Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion, and today we're going to be doing another follow-up to Boruto chapter 75, and this time we're going to be talking about the elephant in the room that I honestly overlooked until one of my patrons hit me up a few days ago about this topic with Sasuke. Given we've seen all the chaos that's waiting for Boruto in the form of him using Momoshiki's powers to see the future and seeing everyone hunting down Kawaki and Kawaki versus Mitsuki and Sarada, they asked me where is Sasuke during all of this, and I honestly kicked myself in the head upon reading this because that was a really good question, one I did not really think of. Given all the chaos that we have going on in the chapter, asking what happened with Sasuke during all of this is something that should have been discussed before any of the conversations we had, especially given that the setup that we had a couple of chapters ago where Sasuke recalled the sensation he felt when Boruto received Momoshiki's Coma Seal, only this time it was Momoshiki manifesting outside of Boruto's body. That was a huge thing to set up and never actually build on, and I just kind of brushed it to the side and said, well, maybe Sasuke's just in the room and we didn't see him just yet. However, my patron, they specifically said, with everyone looking for Kawaki and Boruto being potentially injured, there's no sign of Sasuke, and that is odd because Sasuke is nowhere to be found. It's even more odd when we factor in that Momoshiki knows how close Sasuke is to Boruto and vice versa, so it's strange that Sasuke is not in the picture looking for Kawaki. They believe based off this lack of information, something potentially bad has already happened to Sasuke. They then take it a step further by saying that Momoshiki said the only way Boruto will willingly give up control of his body is if he's mentally broken to the point where he no longer has the will to live. In their minds, the only thing that could potentially get Boruto to this point above all else would be Sasuke dying or being on the brink of death, and they take it a step further by saying that the vision that Boruto saw while sharing Momoshiki's mind is merely a prelude to the events of what will happen to Boruto where he gives up control. Right now, sir, Lady 1010 is super pleased with you. I think you're on to something here, and I think that doctorate degree in anime nonsense detection has really paid off, which as a side note, we gotta say nonsense now because YouTube is cracking down on saying certain words in videos. Now, I could definitely see this being the case though. I gotta say that right now. After we saw Sasuke not only sense what was going on with Boruto and Momoshiki, with Kawaki being the only person other than Sasuke who realized the truth of what was going on, the big question we had was, since Sasuke didn't disclose to Naruto what actually happened, would Sasuke leave the village to pursue code, or would Sasuke hang back in order to observe Boruto, since what he sensed going on was a really big Otsutsuki level threat? It makes sense if Sasuke is still somewhere in the village, and I think that's how your theory actually lines up here. It's really going to hinge on Sasuke being in the village. Sasuke is most likely not gone from the village. He's likely watching from the shadows because, to his knowledge, there's no one else who got that feeling that something isn't right with Boruto. Last time, he was able to sense and see Momoshiki because of the Rinnegan, by Sasuke's own words. Right now, he's still able to sense that Momoshiki has manifested outside of Boruto's spirit, but he obviously can't see him due to the Rinnegan itself being destroyed, but he still retains the power to sense what is coming. He wouldn't leave without telling Naruto, who looks like he has no idea of what's actually going on, and he wouldn't leave without being absolutely certain that everything's okay with Boruto, because for better or worse right now, Boruto is 100% Otsutsuki, and Boruto is a walking Otsutsuki threat, especially now that Boruto's refusing to take those Byakugan drugs. The only thing we don't know right now is what causes the fight that we see, but what we do know is that before Damon and Ada showed up, Kawaki was directly stated to be the strongest person in the village, and that would include Sasuke. The idea that Kawaki turned his blades at Boruto for whatever reason, whether it be the Momoshiki factor or as a precaution, or he's being controlled, what we do know is that if Sasuke's watching nearby, he's likely going to step in. In fact, when we go back a few manga chapters ago, the foreshadowing is already there for this to be the case. Remember how Sasuke said that it wasn't right for Kawaki to step in to strike down Boruto and that only Sasuke should have to carry that burden? Sasuke, during the invasion of Ishiki, made a promise to strike down Boruto if Momoshiki ever took over, which when the time came, Sasuke froze up by his own words. But when he spoke to Naruto on top of the Hokage rooftop in the next sentence, he made a vow to never make that mistake again because he owed it to Boruto as Boruto's master. Based off of this information, we can conclude one of three things has happened, and I'll go from the least likely to the most likely here. The least likely is that Code and those 10-tailed soldiers somehow attack Sasuke. I doubt this is the case. Number one, even without the Rinnegan, Sasuke's still over 10-tails level, and number two, if something like this were to happen, I highly doubt there would be a manhunt going on for Kawaki, unless Kawaki was somehow attached to that 10-tails incident, which I highly doubt. Kawaki and Code hate each other. Next, we have the scenario that Kawaki attacked Sasuke, which I don't see being the case, but I won't rule it out because there's enough narratively that can be done to justify Kawaki bodying Sasuke, especially if Sasuke stands in the way of Boruto and anything Momoshiki related. Kawaki could very well summon those chakra rods and do Sasuke dirtier than Jigen did Konohamaru, shoving him full of those black rods and refusing to pull them out. While it's not as bad as being grilled like a Sarutobi burger like Kashin Koji did Konohamaru, it still would be something that's an embarrassing loss for the once mighty Sasuke Uchiha. And while it would get Kawaki a lot of heat with the fan base, it's something I'm not 100% sold on, and I think it has to have a good narrative justification in order for it to work. Otherwise, it's gonna feel random. Finally, the idea that due to Momoshiki and Boruto sharing a brain, if Momoshiki briefly got control and made Boruto attack and critically injure Sasuke, this could explain quite a bit. It explained why the visions of Boruto at times appeared to be from the ground staring up at people because he'd already been attacked by Kawaki. It also would explain the blood on Kawaki's face because Kawaki might have seen Momoshiki attack Sasuke critically, potentially even attack other people, leading Kawaki to strike down Boruto, and the manhunt that ensues being a complete misunderstanding, which quite a few people believe is actually the case of what's going on. The sight of Boruto critically injured and Sasuke critically injured, covered in blood, and with the blood on Kawaki's face and body, that would explain why Mitsuki felt the need to use Sage powers and why Sarada was out in the field looking for him alongside Mitsuki, and why Shikadai uttered the lines that friends don't do this to friends. A misunderstanding gone wrong, and it would fit the manga narrative of Kawaki feeling like an outsider in Konoha, despite Naruto bringing him into his household, which goes back to Kawaki reflecting at times on Jigen's warnings that Konoha would never truly accept him no matter what he does. There are narrative seeds here that can work, and I definitely think this is worth exploring at some point in the future. Now, being fully transparent with you guys, there are times where I do some of the fan theories and I pause before I make them, but theories like this are why I love seeing what you guys think and putting it out there to the larger community in order to pass time before the chapter drops, because there are times where you guys have cracked the foreshadowing to the story or you've gotten really close to nailing future events, and I think this one we might be getting close to something here. So my question to you guys is, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Is Sasuke still in Konoha and watching from the shadows? And number two, do you think Sasuke has already had something bad happen to him in the future and that's the trigger to make Boruto give up control to Momoshiki? While you think that over, click here to watch my Chainsaw Man video on KRYPTONIAN SAIYAN, or click here for this Naruto Explained video.